MTG cards need a lot of time to get created, from its design, the artwork, and many other things, but sometimes error can slip through the cracks, giving us masterpieces like the cards we'll see in this video. Without further ado, let's start with... During the early years, many cards got printed with the wrong art. Some versions of Serenib Ifrit were accidentally printed with the green frame and text box, with the art from Ibrif Ifrit. This German dredge skeleton was printed with the illustration and text box background of a swamp, a really cursed sight. This version of a forest got printed with the artwork and frame of planes, and all I'm gonna say is that I would love a deck full of this forest. Hurricane got printed with the wrong border. Some copies of white bordered German 4th edition El Hejala, I hope I said it right, were printed with the artwork of Warp Artifact. Oh yeah, a classic blue staple in the early years, Sarah Angel. Do I even have to explain what's wrong here? Some Russian pre-release Lacanthus Champions were printed with a super dark coating of ink that made it look like that. Some portion of Arcane Teaching reprints had an incorrect black ink plate that can be seen in the title and illustration text, as well as a solid black card in the top symbol. 14 of Gaia's touches printed in the dark have the text and mana symbols shifted significantly in the left. Goblin Treaches were added in place of Selesnya Guildmage in the 2021 edition of Mystery Booster Convention Edition, which is importantly an uncommon. That led to all copies being misprinted without a foil stamp, making it really cursed. Similar thing happened to Prophetic Bolt. The card Phantom Center was misprinted with black ink on most text appearing on the card frame. This one is what I think one of the craziest misprints. Some older cards present in the list, a list of cards that were added as a bonus to packs and always being reprints, were printed with a previously unseen design for the white mana symbol instead of the one used on the original printings. These cards are otherwise identical, making this one of the most mysterious misprints. I find these to be some of the funniest ones. Some alpha cards were printed with letter codes instead of mana symbol in the rules text. For example, instead of the symbol for black mana, would have instead be written in the rules text. The Monarch token was originally printed with the rules text saying, "At the beginning your end step, draw card." It got corrected in leather printings. A similar error was made with Audacity, with the lower part of the rules text saying, "When Audacity is put in the graveyard from the battlefield, draw card." Other hilarious ones are from the cards of Planar Chaos, where in the MTGO versions it displays Arabian Nights where it should instead present the Chaos symbol. I need someone to explain to me how can this happen. In the rules text of Zafai Thunder Conductor, it refers to himself as Zafai Thunder Collector. A summon in Alpha said carded instead of discarded. And the most recent example of this type of misprint is from the Spider-Man set, with the previews for Layla, holographic assistant, showing that she's a legendary artifact creature. I will start by showing one of the most famous misprints. Sunscape Apprentice can, for a blue and by tapping, bounce a creature you own to the top of the owner library, but in the German version it can bounce any creature, making it a much better card, more so in those years. The German Rough Hedge was incorrectly translated to say it taps for 2 mana, Ancient Tomb upgrade. Somehow, both of these cards were printed with no actual mana cost. This Portuguese Stoic Rebuttal was printed without the counter target spell line, at least it still discounts. Disentomb is meant to return a card to your hand. The Spanish print was mistranslated to return it to the battlefield. Power Crypt Reanimate is real. The German print of Sunscape Battle Mage, sadly couldn't find a photo of, was mistranslated to say draw 2 target cards, which makes it some kind of tutor when you think about it. The German translation of Enslaved Horror incorrectly says each player, letting you return a card as well. The Spanish localization of the Glamour read destroy target creature or enchantment instead of merely choosing one, an actual downgrade in my opinion. Exotic Orchard is meant to care about lands your opponent controls, but in the Italian version from Conflux was mistranslated to care about lands you control instead, like a reflecting pool. The Spanish version incorrectly allows untapping instead of only tapping. Yugin's middle ability is meant to exile a colored permanent with CMC X or less. The German version was mistranslated and instead says X or greater. Enjoy your free board wipe. The Spanish translation of Jackal Familiar, instead of having the restriction to attack or block with only a creature, it just can't attack or block at all. The Spanish print of Meluku was mistranslated to create 2/2 tokens instead of 1/1s. Still a bad card, but would be a lot better. The Russian version on Silesina Guildmage incorrectly creates 3 whole tokens instead of just 1. Birds of Paradise was printed in alpha without specifying the kind of color the mana is made of. The last line of rule text of this card was formatted like a flavor text. This translation of Expedition Map only searches for a basic land, basically invalidating Tron. The artifact type was omitted from the type line. Card still needs to be reprinted, so no correct version exists yet. This localization of makeshift munitions incorrectly asks to tap the enchantment instead of just paying 1 generic mana. As a Pauper player and Affinity hater, I wish we had this version. This localization of Memory Lapse incorrectly puts the card on the bottom of the library instead of the top, and will make this a crazy strong counter. These are the craziest misprints I could find. If I missed some, leave a comment and remember to like and subscribe. Hope to see you next time. Bye bye!
For leash. You know, here in North Carolina, we like to respect wildlife. Back!